Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Maaike and today's video is going to be a update on all of the new Essence and Catrice products that I tried for their fall winter 2019 collection. I have gathered all of the products that I already did some videos on with like a first impression and trying things out, and by now I have definitely had a chance to try some of these products a little bit more and give you my final thoughts. So I thought we could do one nice little wrap up of all the Essence and Catrice items in this video so that I can sort of give you the lowdown. And these products are going to be out for a few more months. So if you were interested in picking any of this up, then you may still be able to get them. Or if these products are still coming your way, which is of course also possible, then hopefully by that time you can just refer to this video to know what's good and what may not be that good. So let's just get started with primer. Between the two brands, they came out with 3 new primers. This is the one that I've used the most. This is nearly empty, so I'm really happy about that. This is the Catrice Tensational 10-in-1 Dream Primer, and it's supposed to do priming, hydrating, anti-wrinkle, anti-pollution, natural glow, pore minimizing, evening out your skin tone, blurring perfections. It has an UV protection of SPF 50, and I think that's about it. So 10 claims. I don't think it delivers on all 10 claims. I don't find this very pore minimizing, for instance. But in terms of primer, it was a really nice one. I do have to say, not sure if you can see it, but I have a lot of trouble getting this to look nice around my neck area because it has a tint to it and the tint is a little bit too dark for me. So I need to make sure that I really blend it down very well. With this, I very often end up with like a dark patch, like very randomly somewhere around my neckline, which isn't the best, but it was still a nice enough primer for me to use it up. So yeah, it's almost empty. And then I will be moving on probably to one of these. And this is the Catrice Glow Care Primer, and this is the Essence Hydrating and Perfecting Primer. I think this one has like a superfruit complex, but both of these are supposed to be super hydrating. So that's why I wanted to try the other one first, because I think these could be nice in the wintertime. I like a really nice hydrating primer. They have a very nice sort of like similar layout. So I definitely want to try these side by side. And when I tried the Essence products in that video, I couldn't find this primer anywhere yet. It definitely launched a couple of weeks later over here, which is why I haven't tried this a lot. This is indeed a very nice glowy primer, but I've only used it like once or twice, so I can't really give any definitive thoughts on it. But maybe I can do a video on these two and like wear one on one half of my face and then the other on the other half of my face, and then see how my makeup wears wearing both of these throughout the day. Maybe I could do that. Let me know if that's a video that you're interested in. For base products, there wasn't a lot of other things that they released. There were no new foundations, no powders, but Catrice did come out with some new concealers. They came out with a stick concealer. This is the Slim'matic Camouflage stick. I got mine in the shade Fair Ivory, and it's just one of those like twist up stick thingies. And while this is a stick concealer, as you can see, you don't get a whole lot of product. This is one you could use up very, very quickly, I think. It has a very nice, rich, creamy texture, though. It just doesn't feel drying. It doesn't really tug on your skin. It doesn't pull in any fine lines. It doesn't look very drying. It is a little bit more heavy-duty than most liquid concealers, though, I find. So this may be a nice one if you suffer from like breakouts to touch those up. But for me, what I like to do with concealer, it doesn't really suit my needs. However, I think I can use this up, and I think that maybe I'll pull it into a Shop My Stash in the future to make sure I get more use out of it. It definitely didn't crease or anything like that. It looked nice throughout the day. Definitely did a good job concealing my under eye circles, for instance, so it does work there. But I don't think that this kind of format is really my favorite, plus the amount of product you get. Let me see how much you actually get. Yeah, you only get 1.13 grams of product. It's 0.03 ounces, if that means anything to you. So it's very, very little product indeed. So that's why I don't think this is a really good deal. Catrice also started doing a green version of their Liquid Camouflage concealer, and I have to say that I tried this a few times and I do have a little bit of redness in my face. I don't really like using a green concealer to cancel out redness though. I just rather have a good base otherwise. So I don't feel that I really need this product, but it was nice to try it out. In terms of green concealers that I've tried, very often the green can shine through your base and leave a bit of a green cast over your entire face. This doesn't do it because the green shade is definitely sort of light enough to blend in with other shades of makeup that you might be wearing. That being said, I think this works best if you're like fair to light. I think if you have a darker skin tone, that this may be a bit too chalky and gray toned on you. Just saying. For brows, Essence came out with the Super Last Eyebrow Pomade Pencil Waterproof 24-hour. This is what it looks like. It has, like, again, I've not tried this a whole lot. As you can see, there is quite a decent amount of product, but again, with these brow pencils, I feel it always looks like you get a lot more than you actually get. But you can see how thick that is. So getting a very precise brow line with this isn't the best. This is nice for like filling in your brows and like doing that really quickly, but it's quite soft as well. So I feel that this is like one of those brow products that you can use for like 2 or 3 weeks and then you're done. So that is not ideal because it means you need to repurchase a lot. That being said, Essence is of course super affordable. So if that doesn't bother you and you just want to fill in brows, then this may be nice, but it's not good at like making a very precise brow look or anything like that. Another also like one in the category sort of product is the Essence Lash Princess Waterproof Mascara. So the green one is the regular one and they've now come out with a waterproof version of it. I'm currently using this in my Shop My Stash. It's a nice enough mascara, but I do feel that the wand of this is different to the original. So I feel it does give a different effect than the original mascara does. So I would prefer buying the green one again and then topping it off with my waterproof Catrice mascara. That's like one of my favorite combos. That being said, this is a really nice mascara, and the only issue I have, but I have this with every single Essence mascara I have ever tried, is that they dry up very quickly. I can use this for about 4 to 6 weeks before I feel that the texture is starting to change and it starts to clump my lashes together a little bit, and this mascara is currently at that point. So I use this mostly in like October, like I think I started using it at the end of September, maybe for all of October. It's a nice mascara, but that being said, again, a product you need to repurchase a lot. And then for lipstick, both brands came out with new lipstick lines. Essence came out with the This Is Me nude lipsticks. They already released them as a limited edition earlier in the year, and then there were 20 shades. But by the time I could find them anywhere, because they weren't online, I only saw them in one of my local drugstores, and at that time, most of the shades had already been picked over, so a lot of it was out of stock. But now for their fall-winter re-release, they are doing like, I think 10 of them still, or maybe 8. So I did a video on these, and I did a video where I try out every single shade on my lips. I decided to only keep one, and that's shade 06 Real, which has a more reddish brown undertone, and that I felt was the most unique, and also something different that I don't have much in my collection yet. So these are really nice lipsticks. Essence do great lipsticks. I do find that Essence lipsticks can be a little bit drying, and that's why they're not my favorite. I don't have that many Essence lipsticks, despite what some people think. What I was a bigger fan of is the new line that Catrice released. They released the Demi Matte lipsticks. Again, I also did a full video with every single shade with this lipstick range, and these are really, really nice. They have that like velvet touch sort of look to it. And this is a red that they're doing, but they're doing a really nice array of nudes as well. And these are replacing their Ultimate Matte line. And I just think that the packaging of this looks really nice. And I like how, do you see how that has like a nice, like really sharp tip to it? I really like the design of this. This doesn't look like a €4 lipstick at all to me. These wear really nicely too. They leave a little bit of a stain. They stay put all day. This is definitely a winner. If you can find this, Catrice is currently really pushing these on their Instagram, I saw. So they also did like a lot of things on their stories of how these are made, like from the factory, which I thought was really cool. So it seems to be definitely something that is going to be released everywhere because they are really pushing it now. So I'm pretty sure these will be available very, very shortly if you haven't found them yet. Let's talk eyeshadow then, because that is again a category they didn't release a whole lot in. Catrice came out as usual with one of these new like 9-pan palettes. So they do a lot of these like clear lidded palettes. This is the Spicy Rust collection, and I did a look with this, and yes, these aren't the best eyeshadow palettes on the market by any means, but I feel that for the price point, this is definitely one of the best ones they've ever done in this line. There isn't a whole lot of variety in textures though. Everything is satin. You get maybe 2, 3 real mattes. Everything else has a little bit of shine to it, but I feel that on the eye that doesn't really translate very intensely. So to me, this is definitely a palette that is a bit superfluous in my personal collection, but if you're looking for these kind of shades at affordable price point, then again, I think this can be a nice one. But where it's truly at when it comes to Catrice, I really feel they are upping their game when it comes to eyeshadow. This Crystallized Rose Quartz eyeshadow palette, I was actually really happy with. In fact, I was so happy with this that I put it in my giveaway that I did in September to celebrate my YouTube channel hitting 2,000 subscribers and my blog being around for 9 years. Because this is a really nice neutral palette, and where you might think that this purple will then be a little bit lackluster, it's not. It's a really nice shade that truly packs a bit of a punch. So I was very pleased with this because in my experience, Catrice eyeshadow, like these ones, is just not the best. But I feel that this is definitely a palette with which they can compete with some of the other drugstore brands that are out there. This is definitely comparable to like NYX quality and like Milani. I definitely think that this is very much up to par, and I also really like these shades because this is a little bit more cool toned and berries. They do another one in this line which is a bit more warm toned, perhaps a little bit more neutral if you have a warmer skin tone than I do. Then Essence was a bit disappointing in the eyeshadow palette department. They came out with the Crystal Power eyeshadow palette, and this just doesn't really work for me. This is the only matte you get. Everything else in here is shimmer. And I mean, these shimmers are nice. I mean, I'm not gonna lie that the quality of these shadows is quite nice, but I don't really dig the color story. Like, I think that you get a lot of like cooler tones, but this is the only matte you get, and it's very warm. It's like a reddish brown. So I really struggled putting looks together with this. So this wasn't really a great one. It has a couple of nice shades, but this I wouldn't recommend you get because it's just, yeah, it doesn't really do a whole lot. I would prefer the Catrice any day over this Essence palette. Let's talk face products, cheek products you could say, because they came out with a bunch of those products this round. They both came out with contouring palettes. This is the Essence one, this is the Catrice one. As you can see, the Catrice one, like Catrice always has slightly better packaging, I feel. It looks a little bit more luxurious. Essence looks a little bit more simple, even though both of them come in like a very similar plastic compact. I have to say that the Catrice one is really nice. This is very comparable to some of the contouring products they've done in the past. You get a bronzer, a contour, and a like more like a matte highlight setting powder kind of shade. I also believe this comes in different shades as well. This comes like in a deeper version, if I'm not mistaken as well. And this was really nice. I really have no issues with it. In terms of blending, I felt they were, like, it took a little bit more time to blend perhaps, which is why I still prefer my very old Catrice contour palette over this one. And the same goes for this Essence palette actually. You only get 2 shades in this, and I felt that undertone wise, this is sort of like in between a bronzer and a contour for me. So for me, it wasn't the best. And this highlight shade is a little bit too dark for me to work as a powder. So this wasn't the best. Still, in a pinch it would work. I still prefer my older Catrice contour palette though over this. Essence also came out with this, the Crystal Power Blush and Highlighter palette. And like the eyeshadow palette, this isn't my favorite. Everything has a very big deal of shimmer that is very obvious. I'm currently getting into more glowy blushes and cheek products, like apart from highlighter. So that's definitely something different, but also like these 2 blush shades are a little bit deep for me. Like, they don't really work very well. And this white shade it's just a whole, like, it doesn't do anything. Look at that. It has zero pigmentation, and then when you put it on, it's just sparkle. Like, no. Just no. Essence, no. Catrice was a little bit better at doing a highlighter palette. This is their Highlight and Blush Glow Palette, Luminize. This, I believe, comes in 3 different shades, and in here you get 2 highlighters and a blush. I think there's also a version where one of these shades is like a bronzer that pulls a bit deeper. This highlight shade, stunning. I loved it on me. It was a really, really nice one. This is more of like a rose gold, which can work on me, but it is a bit dark. I haven't used the blush much, as you can see. This is like NARS Orgasm, like that's the shade, and I have Benefit Squirrelista, which I prefer over the shade in this, but the highlighters in here are really nice, buttery, smooth, intense. Like that's that first one right there. And then if I swatch that, let me do it like this. That's the highlight I can get down with. That Essence one, no way. But this is so nice, and it works really well on my fair skin. Speaking of more face products, Catrice came out with the Clean ID line, and I'm not sure whether this was limited edition or whether it's still around. I think it's still around, and this is their mineral bronzer, and this is in the shade light medium. This also comes in a deeper shade, and I went to town on this one, man. This is a great bronzer. Bronzer is one of the things that I really struggled with in Catrice for a long time. I've tried several ones. Most of them were very orange, or too dark, or too red, or just, they didn't really work. But this one, I don't know. This is very comparable to the bronzer I'm currently using a lot, which is the Balm's Take Home the Bronze Bronzer. And this has very quickly made its way into like my top 10 favorite bronzers. So Catrice came out with some single blushes. They only do 2 of these, and I have both shades. These are their blush boxes, glowing and multicolor. And they have done blushes like this in different renditions throughout time. They just seem to update the formula all the time. This is It's Wine O'Clock, and that's the one I'm currently wearing on my face. This is a really nice berry shade. It is a little bit deep, so I definitely need to make sure I blend it well. And over the summer, I use this a lot. This is Dolce Vita, and this is such a nice, like, neutrally peach shade. I just dug my nail into it right there. Because that's the only issue I have with these blushes, is that the packaging is a bit flimsy. So what happened was that it just, like, opened up on me. And I've had that issue here as well. Like, the hinges on this, it doesn't really snap shut. It doesn't have any clasp or a magnet. So see, there it went again. So it can just like open if you hold it wrong. So that's a bit of a shame. And then last but not least, we have some Essence Cheeks products. They came out with the blush. This comes, I think, in 3 or 4 different shades. I picked up a more berry shade. This is Befitting. I wore this a lot when I was in New York. Loved it. And the highlighter, which I've been using the most. This is in the shade Heroic. And this is a really nice highlight. Again, let me just show you this. It's a little bit thin at first, but when you use this with a very intense brush, you can definitely make it work. It's not as blinding as the Catrice, but this is a really nice, stunning highlighter for every day. So those were the Essence and Catrice products that I wanted to update you on. I hope this video was helpful so that when you start seeing these things in your store, that you can figure out what you would like to try and what you don't want to try, and just have a bit of an overview now that I've tried everything a little bit more. The primers I definitely need to get back on, I know, but that takes a little bit longer for me to try out. Color products I can make up my mind about a little bit more quickly. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. I do lots of Essence and Catrice content on this channel, so I would also very much appreciate it if you could stay tuned for some of the other content that I have going live, because I make new videos 3 times a week. So if you'd like to not miss anything, then please subscribe. Without further ado, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye!